Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the Celtic versus Aberdeen match preview. A big game, a game we should really be looking to win, take all 3 points, and I think we'll take all 3 points convincingly. I think that's the only outcome that we want, the only outcome we need right now. We can't afford to drop points, let alone lose, at Celtic Park. Especially in such a big game, obviously it's an emotional game with, it's the first game at Celtic Park since the passing of Bertie Old, and also the first time we're welcoming back Scott Brown, after, leaving in the summer of last season, to join Aberdeen on a player-coach deal. An interesting role, which I think we'll see him back at Celtic Park in a few seasons. I think he's off to Aberdeen, get some experience there, and if it goes well, I think we'll see him back maybe at a coaching role. Maybe he'll be the next manager after Ange. But I think Ange will be here for a while based on how we're doing now and based on how the fans think of him, and how well he started and how well he settled into the job. But anyways, all that chat's for another video. But before we start this video, please subscribe if you're new around here. I'm trying to post daily content, especially on weeks like this with European football. I want to try post daily content, but some weeks that we don't have European football or maybe no midweek fixtures, it could be harder, maybe there'll be a few posts a week, but a majority of the days a week there should be content. And also if there's no content on this YouTube channel, there'll certainly be content out on the TikTok, Instagram, or you can hear what I got to say on the Twitter. I just talk a bunch of shit basically. But yeah, let's just jump right into this here. Basically, we need a win. It's so important that we can go get this win. It's the first win since the first SPL game since the international break, which was, a week ago. Sorry. Also, we did get news the day of I'm recording this that Scotland have drawn Ukraine and Austria or Wales in the World Cup playoffs, which I'm going to make a video on later in the week, analysing, possible outcomes, analysing the Ukraine game and what really are our chances of getting through to the World Cup. I'll talk about that in the video this week, so if you want to hear about that, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, stay tuned, keep your eyes peeled for that video because it is going to be a big one and it will be out this week. But back to the Celtic Aberdeen game. Aberdeen currently aren't on a good run of games. Obviously they're off the back of a loss to Dundee United 1-0. Very funny game, well, not really funny, but with the Oho incident, a very controversial game, which will be weighing on the fans' minds and no doubt the players' minds as well, which may affect their mindset going into this game, which only help us. It's very unlikely that might be sticking in their heads, and also a lot of pressure will be weighing over Stephen Glass's head. He's lost too many points this season. He's dropped points in silly games and he's lost silly games, which could result in him losing his job, which, I don't think the Celtic game, if we beat them, will be the final nail in the coffin unless we go and pump them. But at the end of the day, Aberdeen are never expected to come to Celtic Park and beat us. But I'm not saying they can't. They went to Ibrox and they probably should have won that game. Obviously Rangers may have gone a bit lucky with 2 set-piece goals. One of them wasn't really a free kick, and the other one, I don't know, I think it was a penalty, and I don't think it was a penalty either, really. But Aberdeen could have picked up 3 points that game. Aberdeen, they're an inconsistent team. I would say they're a team that shows up for big games, but they don't. Realistically, Aberdeen do not show up for big games. Always you'll think Aberdeen go up against Rangers, you're like, oh, maybe Aberdeen can steal a point, but more often than not they get pumped. 3-4-0, 3-1. It's the other hand, whenever a team travels to Pittodrie, it's a very tough place to go to, but thankfully this time around it is in Celtic Park. As we saw earlier in the season, we had a problem. We had a few struggles at Pittodrie, but thank God, like I said, it's Celtic Park this time around, and we can maybe pick up 3 points going into December, which everyone knows it's a massive month, a defining month in the SPFL. You'll see, I'll tell you this, Hearts will drop off. I'll put money on that Hearts by the end of December to mid-January. Hearts will not even be in contention for top 2. Hearts do it every year. They start off really well and then they will drop off after they don't have the squad to utilize when they get a few injuries, and they'll drop points and they'll wear off, and it'll be a 2-horse race between Celtic and Rangers. And there is no really predicting. You can't really give a solid prediction on who's going to win it at this time. It's tight. That I say the standings stay the same until January 2nd. Celtic win that, then we're right back in the contention for winning the title. And also Rangers win it, then they kind of gap it a bit. So there's many different outcomes that could happen, and you can't really put an early say on it. But at the actual Celtic Aberdeen game, I don't feel there's actually too much to talk about. So we had a big European game. I just hope there's no European hangover over the players, which we've seen in the past. But I think after a loss, the players will be really want to prove themselves. I don't think the players should be disappointed in the loss because it was a very well fought game. I'm not going to go into detail about that. Great effort from the boys. If you want to see my match review of the Celtic Leverkusen game, you can go over to my channel, and that video will be there. Came out yesterday. Obviously, these are two kind of quick games, but that's what we get with European football, especially Europa League football. We got the game on Thursday, and then we're in on Saturday. We're in Sunday most of the time. If it was a Saturday, that'd be crazy, but yeah, on a Sunday. But yeah, I'm just gonna jump into my predicted lineup and predicted score. I think the lineup will be somewhat similar to the Leverkusen game. I don't think there'll be too many changes. I think we'll see Joe Hart in goal, and at right back I think we will continue to see Anthony Ralston. We'll see Carter Vickers. I think Welsh will be out the team, and I think Starfelt will be back unless it's too soon. I think Starfelt could have played in that Leverkusen game, but I think we don't want to take a risk and just get him fully fit and ready for this Aberdeen game. I think we'll see Starfelt in. I was about to say maybe Julian, but I think we heard that Ange said he wants to be extra careful with him. And from what I take from that is that we won't see Julien for another 2 weeks, maybe a minimum. But maybe I'm wrong. Left back, I think it'll be Juranovic. There's no real option. Greg Taylor's still injured. I very doubt Bolingoli will get a chance. He got a chance. He took it. I thought he did well, but he's not really been given a chance since. Obviously, in the middle of the park, I think we'll still have McGregor. I don't think there'll be a Beaton. Because it's kind of unclear if he's actually fit to play. Obviously, the Ange will probably tell us that tomorrow in the interview. Because the day of recording this, it's Saturday. I'm recording this, it's Friday. I'm recording this. Saturday, the pre-match press conference will go out. So there's no real word on if Beaton will play. If Beaton can't play, I reckon it'll be James McCarthy. They'll come in for him. I think that's only reasonable. Unless Tom Rogic is fit, I think it'll be James McCarthy. And then also next to them too, just above them, we'll have David Turnbull. That'll be the midfield three. I think on the right, we will still continue to have James Forrest. I'd be very shocked if he's dropped. He's put in two good performances, one off the bench, one in Leverkusen. It was a decent performance against Leverkusen. And Abada came off the bench against Leverkusen and didn't look convincing whatsoever again, so I think Abada will remain on the bench until he comes off the bench and makes that impact, and maybe Forrest is a quiet game. Then they'll switch around, like I said in the Leverkusen reaction, that's how the competition between them two should go. One has a quiet game, and the other comes off the bench for them and makes an impact that, say Forrest came off the bench, he starts, and vice versa. Works for both of them. On the left, Jota, no question about it, he's probably our best player right now, performing on the park, the most consistent performer. Obviously, in front of the whole team, leading the line, we'll have Kyogo again, who's very much like Jota. It's a no-brainer. They need to be in the team unless, obviously, they're not fit. Maybe they picked up an injury in the Leverkusen game that we've not quite clocked. But yeah, that's the only reason they shouldn't be in the team. They're massive players, and they're players that will win us this game. And without them, they may be the reason we drop points in this game. But yeah, that's my predicted lineup. Like I said, I don't think there's really a single difference in that team other than near Beaton and maybe Carl Starfelt. Now my predicted score is a really tough score to predict. It could be a 1-0 win, it could be a 2-1 win, or it could be a 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 win. I personally think Aberdeen will score. I'll be surprised if they don't. Because they always kind of show up at times. I feel like, knowing our luck, they won't get pumped when they go up against one of us this time. This will be one of the rare times they show up against a bigger team, and I think they will get a goal. I think the score will be 4-2. It's a bit of a weird predicted score, but I think it will be 4-2. The goal scorers for Celtic being, I think, Diego Jota will get in the score sheet. I think Kyogo will have a double. and I think Jamesy Forrest will get the fourth or maybe Lilo Bada. One of them two, depending when they get subbed off. If Jamesy starts, I think Leo Bada may come on and score, but if Leo Bada starts, maybe James will come on and score. But that's interesting to see how the competition goes with them two. The goal scorers for Aberdeen, I think it'll be Christian Ramirez with a double. I want to see him do well in Scotland. Obviously, he came from Houston Dynamo. A somewhat local team to me. Obviously, my most local team is Austin SC. So, you always want to see a team a player come from the MLS, go to a team in Europe and do well. Maybe prove their point. And hopefully he does that. It'll be good to see him maybe kick on. Maybe Stephen Glass isn't a manager for him. Maybe Aberdeen get a new manager and maybe he can kick on and score a few goals and be a big player for Aberdeen. But yeah, less about Aberdeen, more about Celtic. Actually less about Celtic now. That is the fucking hell, man. The preview racked up. I think it was a very simple preview. There's not much to talk about. Like I said, we went through the parts of the Leverkusen game, going forward, how we can change, and the player's mindset going into this game, how it should be and what I think it will be. Obviously we did the player starting 11 prediction and we did the score prediction, and that's as much as there is to talk about. There's not a whole lot to go into depth about. I'm hoping we get this win. It's a big win we need to get on our way and start picking up points. A good start to get us set up to have a good start in December. But yeah, like I said, if you guys are new around here, please subscribe, like this video. If you didn't like it, you could dislike it. I won't be able to tell though, because YouTube don't tell me the numbers of dislikes anymore. They don't tell anyone. Very dumb. So let me know in the comments if you didn't like this video and why. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys after this video, after this game, for the match reaction. I'll see you guys then.